Welcome back to MMAOddsBreaker. Today we got Henry Corrales on the phone, get ready to fight Daniel Straus, coming up at Bellator 138, June 19th in St. Louis, Missouri at the Scott Trade Center. Today it's Friday. It's about a week or so away from the fight. You're getting ready to go into your last training session of hard sparring. Do you feel like it's too, obviously you don't feel it's too close to the event to be sparring this close to the event? What do you put into place to stop from cuts, breaks, hurts, things like that could affect how the fight goes in a week?
Yeah, just make sure everybody wears their headgear and Vaseline, just the basic stuff, And we're not going 100%. We're not trying to kill each other, but we're going about 80 or 90 and live takedowns and things like that. So it's definitely gonna be intense, but we're not gonna hurt each other.
It's funny how you go into a sparring session, you see guys that they have a fight coming up, and you'll see them throwing bombs and throwing kicks and throwing knees, but they're pulling them. But then on a takedown, they'll throw as hard as they can and try to drive their shoulder into you, and they're taking you down. They'll bang you into the wall, which from the new fan looks way worse than the boxing portion of it. Like, it looks way worse. Like, oh my gosh, that's that. But really, that's the positions where you don't get hurt, right?
Exactly, yeah. Like it's crazy. Like it seems like you don't really get that injured from grappling, especially when you're in shape. It's just like at this point you're more worried about like cuts and like things like that. But yeah, I'm not too worried about the whole grappling part right now.
So there's always new guys coming out of the gym. There's always new characters that show up. Some of them are high level pros, Some of them are new level amateurs. Some guys are just brand new. You're not sure who they are or what they've done. At what point during a training camp do you go, look, that I don't want to take the risk of working with a new guy. Like, I don't know anything about him. I don't know what he's going to do. I don't want to take the risk of getting hurt. Is that something you do like it's 6 weeks away from the fight or 5 weeks away from the fight? Like, when do you stop working with a new guy that shows up in the gym?
Yeah, just my two main schools, all in MMA in total. I'll work with anybody who comes through the doors, but about 6 weeks out, I'll stop hopping around and traveling to other gyms, because it's a little different atmosphere when you walk into somebody else's gym. You know what I'm saying? So about 6 weeks out, I stop traveling and doing those things and just really lock it down and stay with my teams.
Now, here in Vegas, it seems like if you train at Couture's, you train only at Couture's. You don't go anyplace else. If you train at Vandelay's, you only train at Vandelay's. That you don't travel to other places because the gyms are all one. It's one-stop shopping, like all the gyms are now. It's weightlifting and you have your strength and conditioning, your boxing, your grappling, all in one spot. So you don't have to go anywhere. And then, but it seems like in California, a lot of the pros travel to different places. Even though one gym has everything they need, it just seems like there's not enough training partners in each spot. It's kind of like you've got to travel to be able to get the right sparring sessions in, to get the right sparring time in. When you're not in training camp, like you said, you stop about 6 weeks out, which is about a solid time of training camp. When you're not in training camp, you don't have a fight imminent coming up. You're just kind of trying to improve your skills. Do you travel quite a bit down in Orange County to different gyms and try to get different looks with different guys?
Yeah, a little bit, but when I say travel, it's like a 30-40 minute drive max, because there's just so much around here. And yeah, like that being said, everyone has like a specialty, so one of my main schools, there's a grip of fucking Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt stranglers. So I come here for my ground, and then my other school, there's like, pro boxers, pro Muay Thai fighters, and things like that. So I do my stand up there. So
Okay. There, and this is for the folks at home. When you're in California, you're talking a 34-minute, 40-minute drive. It might only be 10 or 15 miles.
yeah,
In Vegas, we're talking about 30 or 40-minute drive. You're talking about 40 or 50 miles because it's more freeway. It's easy to get around. In LA, sometimes too, like that 40 or 50-minute drive might be 2 hours because you caught it right in the middle of rush hour. So guys do travel, but they really don't go too far away from where they're going just because of traffic problems. Do you judge where you train because of travel time? Is that really what it comes down to at the end of it? Like, you would train some other place, or you could train some other place, but it's just too far away to get to, and you'd be on the road all day long trying to get the training.
I could see where that's a problem for a lot of guys, but the two gyms where I'm at now, it's just mostly like how we click and just the best, the best fit for me. That's for me, that's what it's all about.
Let's talk about Daniel Straus. That's your opponent coming up here in Bellator 138 here on June 19th. How do you break this fight down? Like, how do you see him as a fighter, and where do you see this fight going?
You know what? He's just a tough guy, really tough guy. Former champ, a lot of experience, um, wrestling base, but he's willing to exchange, and that's pretty much all I would think of him. But mostly throughout this camp, it's all about what I'm going to do. How am I going to get off? How am I going to establish myself in the fight and things like that.
Are you a big tape watcher of your opponent? Do you sit and watch a lot of tape, or as much tape as you can get a hold of on your opponent? Or you're a guy that's just like, hey, I know you just said it's all about me and what I got to do, but some guys are like that and they still watch a lot of tape. Are you one of those guys that watch a lot of tape or don't watch a lot of tape on your opponent?
I don't watch a lot of tape. I've seen a couple of his fights, and that's mostly my trainers do that. They got all the time for that shit. I'm too busy fucking grinding, dude, and training my ass off. And it's just like by the time I get home after 3 workouts, I'm like, yeah, I don't want to do anything, dude, besides, spend some time with my lady. So yeah, and they come up with game plans, all your coaches, and we just go to work. We just go to work with that.
That's Henry Corrales getting ready to fight Daniel Straus coming up here in Bellator 138. Henry, thanks so much for coming on here. Have fun at your last sparring session. It's going to be the last sparring session is always the best one because you're like, this is it. I'm done. All I have to do is get to this next hour and a half, and I'm out of here.
That's right.
All right, man. Have a great rest of the day. We'll talk to you later.
Hey, thanks for having me.